All right, welcome to today's video. If you cannot tell by the gigantic stack behind me, it is book haul time video, and this is one of my favorite videos to make and watch. I love seeing what other books people are buying, getting. It's cool, and I love it. And if you do too, welcome. Oh, I should always tell you my name. Hi, my name is Tanya. If we have not met, I like talking about books and buying books and all things about books. So welcome if you are new here, and let's get into it. So these are books that I have acquired over the past couple months, so it's not just like all at one time. A lot of these also were gifts for me. Also, so a lot of them I got for really cheap, which I'll explain, because I try to save obviously when I can on books, because it can be very expensive. I do get a lot from the library, but I do also, if there's a deal and things like that, I do like to purchase books. So I don't really think there's a particular order. I'm just kind of going through the pile. I'll try to, not take too long and not go too much detail into every book, but just to kind of share. So these are my recents. I just got them this morning, so perfect timing for this video. And it is The Second Blind Son. This I'm really excited about, that I finally got a copy, and it is the continuation of one of my favorite books of 2 years ago, I think now it's been. This is the author who wrote The Last Girl Child, and I've been really just thinking about it, and I've been wanting to reread it again, and I'm so excited because I just wanted to have a physical copy of it because I knew I love the series. So I'm hoping that this will be just as good as the first one. I'm guessing it's different characters and focuses on different characters, but I really love this. It takes place during kind of like the Norse kingdom, Viking, that whole time. So if that's something you're interested in, I would recommend checking out the first book. I believe it's on Kindle Unlimited as well, but really excited to have this one, so yay! The next book that I read, or bought, I started reading it only a couple pages, but I'm really excited, this is actually nonfiction, which is not normally something that I read a lot, but I was really just interested in checking this out. This is called Good Boundaries and Goodbyes, Loving Others Without Losing the Best of Who You Are. And this is a book about boundaries. And in my personal life, boundaries has kind of been a focus of mine this year. So it's something that we've been talking about, and just also we discussed it a little bit in like a mom's group that I'm part of. And it was just something this book was brought up, and again, I was just very curious and learning about healthy boundaries in your life and in your relationships, and how they are very important. Don't want to get into a whole tangent to sermon here, but just saying that if that's something that you struggle with and you have been interested in learning about, check out this book. I've read a little bit only, and like I've already highlighted so much. It's just very interesting to learn about that concept and how boundaries are important and they are healthy and you need them in your life. Anyway, that's all I would say about that, but there's that book. Then I talked about this in my last video, but I did purchase Archer's Voice. I read it already. If you want to see my reviews and feedback about it, watch the last video I uploaded, but this was one that I again saw a lot about. I know especially the last like a year ago or so, I know this was really popular. I know that there's also the second book that came out. I might or might not read it. I don't know. I'm not jumping like, oh my gosh, I need it right now, but I did read this, and I had hauled this already, so oh my goodness. All right, these next few I was really excited because I have a, what are they called? Not a consignment store. They are kind of like open box kind of stores, where it's a lot of items that are from like Target is what this store mainly here does. It's items that are from Target that are overstock or returns. They're all new, but they're just, stuff like that, where they get then taken to the store and sold for very cheap. And so they had a big shipment of Target books, and I was so excited because these books were for 50 cents, you guys. Like, so many of these, I could not believe it that each book was 50 cents brand new. Like, it still had the Target stickers and things like that on it, but not that you have to buy a book brand new, but you know what I mean, like the fact that it was 50 cents for brand new books from Target, I was like, yes. So one of them that I got was Project Hail Mary. I believe this is this kind of like sci-fi? Is this young adult? I just know I saw this like cover a lot, and again for 50 cents I was like, this is something I was interested in and I want to check it out. So I haven't really read like a good sci-fi book in a while. I've really been into like fantasy romance, I feel like, for the last few months, so I definitely want to check this one out and see what it's all about. I've heard really good things about it. Then the next one that I got, again, was also 50 cents, and it's the beginning of a series, which That's why I also got it, because I was like, I don't want to buy a random, you know, in a series. But I got the first one, and it's by Rick Riordan. He did, oh my gosh, why can't I use my words? Not Jack Reacher. Oh my gosh, you guys, why can't I use my words? You guys know what I'm talking about. Percy Jackson. There we go, it came to me. The Percy Jackson series. And I really do also enjoy his writing. And I also got it because my brother, I have a younger brother, that he's read some of the series, the Percy Jackson. And so I do like Rick Riordan's writing, so I thought it would just be a good one. And I had not read this series. This one is the Gods of Asgard. So I think it's like the god, this one is called The Sword of Summer. So the series, I think, is the Gods of Asgard. So good, like middle grade fantasy. I'm just curious to check it out. I think somewhere in here are some more that I bought for the 50-cent sale, but these are some other ones that I picked up at a thrift store as well recently that I found some good reads. I think they were like 99 cents. This one just looked interesting. I have never heard of this. I've never seen it. I just saw it there, read the back, and I was like, this sounds intriguing. And it's called The Blackthorn Key. I'll just read it to you. It says, follow the clues, crack the code, stay alive. Right there, anything with clues and codes, I'm like, yes. You know, like, I want that. It says, tell no one what I've given you. Until he got that cryptic warning, Christopher Rowe was happy, learning how to solve complex codes and puzzles and creating powerful medicines, potions, and weapons as an apprentice to Master Benedict Blackthorn, with maybe an explosion or two along the way. But when a mysterious cult begins to prey on London's apothecaries, the trail of murders grows closer and closer to Blackthorn's shop. With time running out, Christopher must use every skill he's learned to discover the key to a terrible secret with the power to tear the world apart. That just all sounds very interesting to me. I don't even know. I think this is young adult. When is this, from 2015? I don't even know. I don't know. I just saw it and I was like, codes, mysteries, murder mysteries, things, intrigue. It all sounded so good. So I'm really excited to get into this one as well and see what it's all about. Like I said, it says book 1. So I'm guessing it's part of a series? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe something wonderful and magical will come out of this, and this will be like my new favorite book. Who knows? The next one, so my kids were actually asking about this because they had seen the movie, and I'm sure that the book is way better. I know that this was really popular when I was younger, when I was in, you know, like younger in late middle school, early high school, and it was Aragon. And I know that this is a whole series, but I found this again for 99 cents. My kids have been asking because I read aloud to them a lot before bed, and so sometimes, you know, we'll pick different books. And so they were really asking about, they wanted to try to read Aragon because they're into fantasy things as well. And so I found it, and I wanted to read the book for myself as well. Because again, I've heard really good things about this series, and also just really cool cover of this dragon. And I think it's middle grade. I don't think it's an adult, is it? But I know it's book 1 in this series, and it's about this boy named Aragon, and then there's a dragon, and just the whole story that goes on with it. There's like adventure and intrigue, like political intrigue and things like that. So yeah, there's that one. Then this was also a thrift store find. I just loved it also because it was beautiful, but I do actually want to read this. And it was actually a really cool find. This is a book. So it's translated from French. It's from 1979, but it's in Russian. It's Grafinia di Monsoro. But I just love the cover. It's like cloth bound. Again, like it was like 99 cents, and I was like, it's just beautiful to look at, even if I never read it. But I do want to read it actually. But it's translated from French. And what would it be in French? I don't know the word in English for Grafinia even. What is that in English? I'll put it on the screen once I figure this out, because I don't know how to translate that. But I believe it's like his historical fiction, this whole big story. And again, it was just really beautiful too. Like, look, it's like, fairy princess petting deer. Like, this would be like my dream. But who knows, right? I don't know. So I'm really excited to read it and also just display it. I think it's really pretty. And I was just really excited to find a book in Russian because, like I said, trying to buy books here in America in Russian. If you don't know, Russian is my first language, and so I do read some books in Russian, but it's so hard to find them here at an affordable price to get them and to ship them here. I live in Minnesota, so it's really cool when I can find like a thrift store plus a vintage one, so that's really fun too. This is one that I find a lot of good reads on my discarded pile, or withdrawn books at my library. And this one, again, I had never seen it. I've heard it. I believe it says young adult, and it is called Bloodleaf. And it says the strongest magic requires the greatest sacrifice. And it just looked like a good fantasy YA book. I did not know really anything about it. Like I said, I've never heard of it, but it looked good. It says, Princess Arella is a prisoner to her crown and the heir that nobody wants. Surrounded by spirits and banned from using her blood magic, Aurelia must flee her country after a devastating assassination attempt. Her only option for freedom lies with another warden, her betrothed, Prince Valentine. Dun dun dun. And so, I don't know, just a good, I think, maybe a cleanser in between. I think this I don't know if this is a series or not. Like I said, I don't really know anything about it, so we'll see. Then, dun dun dun, this was like, why do I keep doing that a lot today? It feels very dramatic. This is me eating my words, because I think a few videos, I don't know how many videos, I was like, I don't think I tried some Sarah J Maas books. And again, I will not say that she's like my end all die all, like my favorite author ever, but I always said, like, I don't think I'm gonna read anything by her. And then I read the second book in the ACOTAR series, and I was like, I love all these characters! And then I went and I bought the entire box set. And yeah, I've read the first and second already, and the third book, and I'm currently reading the little novella, and then I just have the big last one left, or currently the one that's out. So these were all, I hauled these. I was so excited because I got a really good deal. I got these at Target for, I think it was $40, and I had a gift card, which was my gift to myself. It was wonderful because if you buy Target books, don't sleep on Target. They already are usually 20% off, and then when they have a book sale, they had another 20% off those books that they have. So the whole series ended up costing me about like $39, $40 for, what was it, 5 books. And it was exciting and wonderful, and they just look so pretty, and I'm so excited to have them. So that was the one thing. And then after that, I was really gung-ho, and I was like, this is it. I'm just reading Sarah J Maas. And so my husband, I have these all on Kindle actually, because he had gotten them for me before, but I got them in print because I also got this whole Throne of Glass box set. And I specifically was like kind of in a rush. I was telling my husband, and he got it quick because I know they're changing the covers, and I don't like the new covers. I don't know, I don't really like it. I like the ones normally, but I'm not into like people on the cover, but these just look so much better. So I don't know, to me, I really like them a lot more. Like, look how badass that looks compared to like the new one. It's like, I don't know, I just don't really like it. This, yes, like that's like read me. When I see the new covers, I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't really intrigue me, but I'm really excited to read these. So I have the whole box set. My husband got it for me as a gift. I believe it's from Amazon. So I will be reading this in the future, hopefully soon. There's just so many books to read and not enough time, but I'm just so excited. It also just makes me so happy to look at it. Like, it's just so, it's so pretty. So here's me eating my words, saying I'm never gonna read a Sarah J Maas book, and then now I'm buying all of them and reading them. So here we are. Then I'll go into this next stack. All right, oh my gosh, there's so many books. So this is a Costco find. Costco's are also a really fun place to get books discounted. This is a Tessa Bailey. I'm about halfway through. Called Secretly Yours. Just a cute romance. Definitely spicy though. I have learned with Tessa Bailey, her covers are deceiving because they're really cute. But there's definitely some spicy in here. So just so you're aware, I believe this is also going to be part of a series, a duology. I forget what the name of the series is, something about like wine, but it takes place in a vineyard, kind of like second chance romance in a way, I would say, or like, I don't know, is that what I would call it? Kind of, but they're like, they were friends when they were younger, had like a quick connection, not even really friends, but they had a connection in the past, and now it's rekindling later. But I do enjoy Tessa Bailey books. I think they are a good story, and yeah, just a good little romance. Then the next one, this was also a few library finds that I just, again, I find them when I'm there every couple weeks, and I'm like, oh, it looks good. This one is called Fireborn. It just also looked really cool. And I don't know if this is young adult, I think. It says, Annie and Lee were just children when a brutal revolution changed the world, giving everyone, even the lowborn, a chance to test into the government class of dragon riders. So I'm guessing they're gonna like try to become dragon riders. This kind of gave me like dystopian, like Hunger Games, but also like the whole magical realm. I don't know, this just looked really cool too. And yeah, I also just love the cover. Let's see. The next one that I picked up was a historical fiction, The Home for Unwanted Girls. Looks difficult to read, but also very informative, and it takes place in the 1950s in Quebec, and I think it talks about, is it, oh my gosh, oh, no. Yeah, so it talks about the Quebec orphanage system during that time, and I think it follows the story. Oh yeah, and it also like looks at psychiatric and mental health treatment of patients, which that also sometimes scares me, because those kinds of things, just like mental health, like reading it about, especially historically, like insane asylums, it freaks me out, because just the treatment of people sometimes was insane. But like with historical fiction, I also find that it's difficult, but sometimes I think it's important to read, because I probably, like, I don't know anything about 1950s Quebec orphanage system, you know what I mean? So to read it in a historical like story setting is just really interesting. So I am excited to see what I learn, and I have a feeling that it will be difficult to read, but also really good. So this was a thrift store find, I think, for like $1.50. Then this one was a gift from my sister. This is a nonfiction, but I've been getting more into cross stitch and embroidery, so this was on my list. My sister got it for me. I love DK books in general. I think especially their books just explain things really well. They're like approachable, they're easy to read, and they teach you things. And this one is just step-by-step embroidery and different steps of embroidery. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Great, I guess we'll just keep going with the nonfiction train. So I'm also one of the few nonfiction things that I do really like to read is cookbooks. And so this one is one of my favorites that I actually purchased. It is basically what I'm saying. I'm kind of picky. I read tons of cookbooks that I check out from the library all the time. I enjoy them, but cookbooks are also very expensive and they take up space. My kitchen is very small, and I only really purchase the ones that I know I really will actually use and that I really are just important to me in some way. And so this one is actually, it's La Cocina Casera Mexicana, and it's actually in the Spanish version. They do have an English version, but I got this one. I found it at the library again, fell in love with it. What I love about it is, so my husband and his family, my husband is Mexican, and so at my house we try to incorporate Mexican and Ukrainian food. Of course, there's also like American food thrown in, but it's hard because we try really hard to cook authentic Ukrainian and authentic Mexican food. And obviously, me being Ukrainian, I am not, you know, like I'm not always aware of all the authentic Mexican food other than what I know through my mother-in-law. And what I loved about this book is that I've read a lot of other like Mexican cooking food books. First of all, I love that it's actually written by a Mexican woman, because I think if you're going to be writing authentic Mexican or authentic whatever, you need to have the person that's actually, sorry about the lighting, from that culture, right? Or from whatever, you know? So this actually is written by an authentic, like written by a Mexican woman. Also, the recipes, they're actually like doable. They're written really well. They have beautiful photos, simple recipes. And what I love about it too is that when I read through this, I was like, wow, this is exactly like very similar to how my mother-in-law does it. So a lot of them I could already like relate to and understand. So I just really love this book. I've already tried a few recipes. They have tasted really good. And my husband was saying that they were very similar to like how his mom, you know, like the authentic Mexican cooking, which is what we're trying to go for here, right? To learn to actually do it the authentic way, using the authentic spices and ingredients and things like that. So again, I just really liked it. This is the Spanish version. If you want to get they do have, like I said, the version in English. I think it's also at Target. This is where my husband, he got this for me. So good. It's definitely like my staple now for Mexican cooking. So it's going along on my shelf, and I really definitely wanted to buy this. So really 5 out of 5 for me. I recommend this for if you're looking for good Mexican, authentic, really good recipes that are not too crazy, that are, you know, easier to actually do, but still also authentic in their taste and the process, then I do recommend this book as well. This next stack is a mix of, I don't know, a lot of different things. I think most of these are ones that I got at that were 50 cents from that store. So this one that I got is called The Night Watchman, and I don't know much about it. I just know, let's see, I guess I'll read a little bit to you. It says Thomas Washashk is the night watchman at the jewel bearing plant near the Turtle Mountain Reservation in rural North Dakota. He's also a Chippewa council member who's trying to understand the consequences of a new emancipation bill in the US Congress. So it takes place in 1953 during that time. And so also, I believe this author, she's a Minnesota author, and I believe she's also a Native American author, if I'm correct. So I just remember seeing the cover because when I used to work at the library, we always did like Minnesota author displays because we're in Minnesota, and she was on, that book was on that shelf. And so it just all seemed curious. Yeah, it says makes a fateful trip to Minneapolis, which, you know, is here in Minnesota. I technically live in a suburb of Minneapolis, so it's just kind of fun to see history and things about your own state and where you are, you know. So like I said, I don't know much about it, but I'm curious to read this and see what it's all about. This next one I purchased at Half Price Books a few weeks ago, started it a little bit. I'm intrigued and I'm curious to read more. And it is The Mysterious Benedict Society. I know that this has been pretty popular, you know, before, because I want to say, when was this published? I believe it's also a series. 2007, so it has been out for a while. I just never got around to it, but I have started reading it, and I think after reading The Inheritance Games, and I'm just really into like Agatha Christie mysteries and puzzles, I'm intrigued by that, like that one other book that I hauled, and this just all seemed really interesting too. So if you don't know about it, there's an ad that appears in the paper, and it says, "Are you a gifted child looking for special opportunities?" And so it follows the story of this boy, what is his name? I forget, but he lives in an orphanage, and he is very clever and intelligent, but he's not really, you know, getting that chance as much in the orphanage, and so he decides to respond to this ad, and there's like all these different tests and trials kind of things. And again, if you like things like The Inheritance Games and puzzles, or like Knives Out and mystery, I think you would like this one. I think this one is technically, is it middle grade? But it seems really good. I'm excited to read the rest of it. Hopefully, if it's really good, I know it's a series, to continue on with that. Then the next one, this was also one I think I picked up for 50 cents. This one is called The Hillbilly Elegy. And I got this because I don't know why in my head I feel like I had just heard about this and I wanted to read it. Just the name stuck out. And this is actually also nonfiction, which is pretty wild for me. But this is a memoir of a family and a culture in crisis. And I think it talks about, what is this? Oh yeah, it looks at just the idea of poverty, and it looks, I think, at the story of this person, J.D. Vance. I think it looks at his life about poverty in like rural America. I'm not sure, where is it, I don't know where they are in America, but I think it also just looks at the system of poverty and just maybe a critique almost on poverty and that system in here in America. So I don't know, I was just intrigued by it, and I had heard about it. Like I said, just for some reason, like it just stuck in my head, and I was like, I feel like I should read that, and I feel like I had someone who talked to me about it, so I got this one. Then this one that I also found for 50 cents. It is The Bad Girl Reputation, and I think I remember seeing something by this author as well, but I don't think I've read it. I think there's that one other book by her, Good Girl Complex, is that what it is? I don't know, but I never read that. But again, the cover looked interesting, and for 50 cents, I was like, I'll check it out. And this one says, she's a former bad girl, and she returns to her mother's, for her mother's funeral, and there's an ex-boyfriend, Evan, and so obviously it's like, I guess, former, like, lovers to enemies, maybe to friends, I don't know. So there's like the past, so maybe like a second chance romance a little bit. So yeah, it's a kind of small coastal town. It just all kind of seemed interesting too. I thought it might be a good one for the beginning of summer. It just kind of gave me that vibe, I don't know. And yeah, just curious to check it out. The next one I just got because it's a classic, and we also will be using this in our homeschooling curriculum. If you don't know, I have 3 kids, and we actually just recently made the decision to homeschool next year. So there's a lot going to be going on, a lot of good books being read. But one of the books we'll be using for our curriculum is Charlotte's Web. This is just a classic and just a good one to read, again, out loud, that we'll be doing for a read aloud next year. And it was 50 cents, brand new. And it's just a sweet story if you don't know about it. I just really enjoy it. And it was voted a great American read by PBS. So it's classic, I think, for a reason. Check it out. It's a pretty short one. Yeah. Then this next one was also a 50-cent pickup at that sale, and it was I'll Show Myself Out, Essays on Midlife and Motherhood. I actually had no idea who this person was, Jessie Klein. Like, I didn't, you know, when I read the name, I was like, who is this? and I believe she's a writer. She's done things on like SNL and different other shows and different other things. I don't know much about her, but the concept, and I think I saw, again, like sometimes I'll see a random post, someone was like, had talked about this book. I don't even know who or what, but it just talks about, again, being a mother and having, if you ever had any children or experienced any part of motherhood, it just seemed interesting to me, the concept. I wanted to see. I've heard it's like good, parts are funny, some are sad, serious, you know, whatever. So I just wanted to see that and see what it's about, you know, and just read it. Again, it's just something different. It's actually like a nonfiction and memoir, almost in a way, not memoir, what would it be, like essays, but it's nonfiction. So I just thought it looked interesting. I wanted to check it out. It's very different, I think, for me, not something normally would pick up, but again, like I said, I saw it before. I was curious. So then this next one was also 50 cents from that sale or from the store, and it's called The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. And I also just take a minute to appreciate the cover. I think it's beautiful. It's hardcover, and it just looked really cool. The cover intrigued me right away, and it is let's see. It says, "Don't chase fate, let fate chase you. Deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland for generations. Her people believe the sea god, once their protector, now curses them. Each year, a beautiful maiden is sacrificed to the sea in the hopes of appeasing him. Many believe that Shimshan, the most beautiful girl in the village and the beloved of Mina's older brother June, may be the one to finally end the suffering. But on the night June is to be sacrificed, June, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. June follows her out to sea, knowing that that to interfere in it is a death sentence. To save her brother, Mina throws herself into the water. Swept away to the spirit realm, Mina seeks out the sea god, only to find him caught in an enchanted sleep. With the help of a mysterious man and a motley crew of demons and spirits, Mina sets out to wake the sea god and bring an end to the killer storms once and for all." So it's just, yeah, it seems like a good like fantasy read. I don't know, it just seems very interesting. But again, I was just very intrigued because I saw the cover. I don't know if it had anything on the, no. But yeah, so I think this is also young adult, I want to say, is what I think it is. I think it's young adult. And then the last couple books that I picked up, again, they just looked interesting. This is a mystery series that I've just been interested in reading, and I saw a copy of it in the library withdrawal section, so I picked it up, and it is the Agatha Raisin mystery. So this is a whole big series. I know there's also, I think, like a show on BBC, but it follows this woman, Agatha Raisin, and it's kind of just like if you like Agatha Christie, you know, novels, but like fun, cozy mysteries kind of things. This is kind of what that is. It's just a fun little mysteries in the town, and yeah, this Agatha Raisin is the woman who like helps solve them. And so yeah, they're just mysteries, like cozy mysteries, I guess I would say in a way. And then this last one that I also found, I think this was a thrift store find for $1, is a book by Jen Hetmaker. It's called Of Mess and Moxie, Wrangling Delight Out of This Wild and Glorious Life. I have read a couple Jen Hetmaker books and I've enjoyed them. These are also, I guess, like nonfiction self-help in a way. So again, different for me, but I do sometimes read these every once in a while. But it just talks about, for many women, life seems to come at them nonstop. Their day-to-day life leaves them feeling overwhelmed by the pace, stuck in their circumstances, and anxious about not only how to juggle it all, but also how to live well. And so I guess just talking about that, and yeah, so I'm curious. This will be an interesting read. Like a lot of these are. So here we have it. That, I think, is everything. I might also start doing, if you guys are interested in seeing kind of like the Kindle or like Prime books that I'm downloading monthly. If that's something you're interested in seeing, let me know, because I know that there are ebooks or audiobooks also. If you're interested in that, let me know, because I think I might make that something new on my channel to just talk about that as well, because I only really ever talk about sometimes the print or Kindle books, but like that I've purchased, but not really so much like KU and stuff like that, you know, if you're interested. So thank you so much for sticking out for this long video. Hope you enjoyed it. Happy reading to you as always, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone.